The personnel file sat on the desk in the company office, sealed with a red stamp. Confidential. Most Marines never saw what was inside their own files. But Staff Sergeant Marcus Reid knew exactly what his contained. Dishonorable patterns from 8 years ago. Court-mandated rehabilitation. A discharge that had almost ended his career before it began. Then, against all odds, a second chance, a waiver. A redemption arc written in paperwork and supervised drug tests. The Marine Corps had taken a risk on him, and Marcus had spent every day since proving that risk was worth it. But no one in his current unit knew. No one knew that the steady, reliable staff sergeant who mentored young Marines had once been the broken kid who couldn't get through a day without a fix, who'd lost everything, who'd nearly lost his life. He kept that part buried, hidden, a past that didn't fit the image of who he was now. But deployment has a way of bringing secrets to the surface. And when young men started breaking under the weight of war, Marcus realized that the very thing he'd been hiding might be the only thing that could save them. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Heavoy so you never miss these true tales of courage. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from today? Marcus Reid grew up in Detroit, working-class neighborhood, single mother who worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. He was a good kid, smart, athletic, the kind of teenager teachers said had potential. Then his mother got sick, cancer. Stage 4. The bills piled up faster than hope could sustain them. Marcus was 17. Too young to fix it, too old not to understand what was coming. She died 3 months after his high school graduation. The funeral was small. The debts were not. Marcus tried college, lasted 1 semester. The grief was too heavy, the loneliness too deep. He dropped out and started working construction. Long days, hard labor, decent money, but the weight inside him never lifted. That's when someone offered him a way to make it lighter, just for a little while, just to take the edge off. Pills first, then something stronger. The descent was fast. Months turned into a blur of chasing the next high, the next escape from a pain that never really left. By 22, Marcus had lost his job, his apartment, most of his friends. He was living in his car, selling anything he could to afford the drugs that had become the only thing keeping him breathing. At 23, he overdosed in a gas station bathroom. A stranger found him, called 911. The paramedics brought him back. He woke up in a hospital bed, handcuffed to the rail, facing charges for possession. His life had hit bottom so hard there was nothing left to lose. The judge gave him 2 options, prison or rehab. Marcus chose rehab, not because he believed it would work, but because prison felt like giving up entirely. The first month was hell. Withdrawal tore through his body like fire. Every nerve screamed. Every thought whispered that it would be easier to just go back, just one more time. But the counselors at the facility didn't give up on him. They'd seen worse. They'd seen people claw their way back from places darker than where Marcus had been. Slowly, painfully, Marcus started to rebuild. One day at a time, one choice at a time. Choosing to stay clean. Choosing to face the grief he'd been running from. After 6 months, he was sober. After a year, he was working again. After 2 years, he started thinking about who he wanted to be. That's when he saw the Marine Corps recruiting commercial honor courage, commitment, words that felt impossible for someone like him, someone with a record, someone who'd been broken, but something inside him stirred. A question. What if he could become more than his worst mistakes? He walked into the recruiting office expecting to be turned away. Instead, the recruiter listened to his story. All of it. The addiction, the overdose, the rehab. It's going to be hard, the recruiter said. You need waivers, medical clearance, proof of sustained sobriety. The Corps doesn't take chances on people lightly. Marcus nodded. I understand, but I want to try. It took a year. Letters from his rehab counselors, clean drug tests every month, character references, medical evaluations. The process was grueling, designed to weed out anyone who wasn't serious. But Marcus was serious, more serious than he'd ever been about anything. At 26 years old, Marcus Reid shipped to boot camp. He was older than most recruits, carried more weight in his eyes, but he never faltered, never complained, never gave the drill instructors a reason to doubt him. He graduated, earned the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, became a Marine. For the next 6 years, Marcus kept his past buried. It wasn't shame, exactly. It was protection. He didn't want to be defined by what he'd survived. He wanted to be judged by what he did now, and what he did was excel. He became a squad leader, earned his sergeant's stripes, then staff sergeant. He was steady, reliable, the Marine others looked to when things got hard. But inside, he carried the weight of knowing that one mistake, one moment of weakness, and everything could unravel. In the summer, Marcus's unit deployed to Afghanistan, Helmand Province, a place where the heat was relentless and the enemy was patient. The deployment started like most. Long days, short nights, patrols through villages where no one trusted anyone, the constant hum of tension that never quite broke into violence but never fully disappeared. Marcus led his squad with the same quiet discipline he always had, but he noticed things others didn't. The way certain Marines started pulling away, the way their eyes lost focus, the way they stopped laughing at jokes. War didn't just break bodies, it broke minds. And Marcus knew the signs. 3 weeks into the deployment, a Lance Corporal named Jimmy Torres started showing up late to formations, missing meals, sitting alone during downtime. Marcus pulled him aside one afternoon. "Torres, you good?" Torres forced a smile. "Yeah, Sergeant. Just tired. Everyone's tired." "That's not what I asked." Torres hesitated. Then he shook his head. "I'm fine." "Really?" Marcus let it go, but he kept watching. 2 weeks later, Torres was found sitting on the roof of the barracks at 2 a.m, staring at nothing. Another Marine had seen him and reported it to the platoon sergeant. The platoon sergeant brought Torres to Marcus. "Reid, talk to him. Figure out what's going on." Marcus sat with Torres outside the barracks. The night was cold. The stars were bright. Neither of them spoke for a long time. Finally, Torres broke the silence. "I don't know if I can do this, Sergeant." "Do what?" "This. All of it. The patrols. The waiting. The not knowing if today's the day something bad happens." Torres' voice cracked. "I keep thinking, maybe it'd be easier if I just wasn't here anymore." The words hit Marcus like a fist to the chest. He'd heard those words before. Not from someone else. From himself. Years ago, in the darkest moments of his addiction. Marcus took a slow breath. Then he made a decision. A decision to break the wall he built around his past. "I need to tell you something, Torres. Something I don't talk about." Torres looked at him, confused. 8 years ago, I was in a bathroom with a needle in my arm, hoping I wouldn't wake up. I didn't want to be here anymore either. The pain was too much. The weight was too heavy. And I thought the only way out was to stop existing. Torres' eyes widened. "I survived," Marcus continued. "Not because I was strong. Because someone found me, brought me back, gave me a second chance I didn't think I deserved." Marcus's voice was steady, calm, but the weight of the words filled the space between them. "I'm not going to tell you that what you're feeling isn't real. It is it's heavy, it's dark, and it feels like it's never going to end." He paused. "But it does end. If you hold on long enough, if you let someone help carry it with you." Torres' throat tightened. "How do you know it gets better?" "Because I'm sitting here, and you're sitting here. And we're both still breathing. That's how I know." For the first time in weeks, Torres cried. Not quietly, fully. The kind of crying that comes from holding too much for too long. Marcus didn't tell him to stop. Didn't tell him to be strong. He just sat with him, let him break, let him feel. When Torres finally spoke again, his voice was small. "I don't want to die, Sergeant. I just don't know how to keep going. Then we figure it out," Marcus said. "One day at a time. You don't have to do it alone." Word didn't spread officially, but somehow, quietly, it did. The way things always do in tight units. Marines talk, and when one of them gets help, others start wondering if maybe they can too. A month later, another Marine approached Marcus. Corporal Danny Hayes, older than Torres, more experienced, but carrying the same weight. Hayes found Marcus during the night shift. "Sergeant, you got a minute?" They walked to the edge of the base, far from the lights, far from ears. Hayes didn't ease into it. "I heard you talk to Torres." "That you understood what he was going through?" Marcus nodded. "I did." Hayes looked down. "I've been thinking about it too, ending it. I've got a plan and everything." Marcus's chest tightened, but his voice stayed calm. "Tell me." Hayes described it. The method, the timing, the way he'd make it look like an accident so his family wouldn't have to carry the shame. Marcus listened. Didn't interrupt, didn't judge. When Hayes finished, Marcus spoke. "Can I tell you something?" Hayes nodded. When I was at my lowest, I had a plan to. I thought I had it all figured out. I thought no one would care, that my death would be easier on everyone than my life. He paused. I was wrong, because the people who loved me didn't want me gone. They wanted me to stop hurting, and dying wasn't going to give them that. It was just going to transfer my pain to them. Hayes' jaw clenched. But what if the pain doesn't stop? It changes, Marcus said. It doesn't disappear, but it becomes something you can carry, especially when you stop carrying it alone. Marcus pulled out his phone, opened a photo. His sponsor from rehab, a man who'd been clean for 20 years. This guy saved my life, not by fixing me, by showing me that survival was possible, that I wasn't alone. He looked at Hayes. You're not alone either. Hayes' hands trembled. I don't know if I can do this. You don't have to know. You just have to choose, right now. In this moment, choose to stay. And tomorrow, you choose again. Hayes broke, not in the same way Torres had. Quieter, deeper. The kind of breaking that comes from years of holding everything in. Marcus stayed with him until the sun came up. The third Marine was different. Private First Class Ethan Cole. Young, quiet. The kind of kid who never caused problems, but never quite fit in either. Cole didn't come to Marcus. Marcus went to him. He'd noticed the signs. The way Cole had started giving away his belongings. Small things: a watch, a book, a photo of his family. Saying things like, you'll get more use out of this than me. Marcus knew what that meant. People getting ready to leave don't hold on to things. He found Cole sitting alone in the chow hall, staring at an untouched tray of food. Marcus sat down across from him. Cole looked up, startled. Sergeant, you planning on eating that? Cole shrugged. Not really hungry. Marcus nodded. Then he said, very quietly, you planning on being here tomorrow? Cole's face went pale. What? I've seen the signs, Cole. The way you're giving things away. The way you're saying goodbye without saying it. Cole's hands gripped the edge of the table. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you do. Marcus's voice wasn't harsh. It was gentle, understanding. And I'm not here to lecture you. I'm here to tell you I've been where you are. Cole's eyes filled with tears. How do you know? Because 8 years ago, I tried to end my life. And the only reason I'm sitting here is because I failed. The words hung between them. I thought I was doing everyone a favor. Marcus continued. I thought the world would be better without me. But I was wrong. And if I'd succeeded, I wouldn't be here right now, talking to you, helping Torres, helping Hayes, helping anyone. Cole's voice broke. But what if I can't do it? What if I'm not strong enough? Marcus leaned forward. Strength isn't doing it alone. Strength is asking for help. And you just did. By the end of the deployment, the truth about Marcus Reid's past had spread through the unit, not as gossip, as something else. Respect, understanding. The Marines who had once seen him as just another staff sergeant now saw him as someone who'd walked through fire and come out the other side. Torres, Hayes, and Cole all made it home. All of them alive, all of them still fighting their battles, but no longer alone. Before the unit left Afghanistan, the company commander called Marcus into his office. Reid, I want to talk to you about something. Marcus stood at attention. Yes, sir. The commander gestured for him to sit. I've heard about the conversations you've been having, the Marines you've been helping. Marcus's chest tightened. He didn't know if this was praise or punishment. I want you to know, the commander continued, that what you did took more courage than any firefight. You shared something personal, something painful. You saved lives because of it. Marcus didn't know what to say. The Corps needs more Marines like you, Reid, not just warriors, but people who understand that strength isn't just physical. The commander extended his hand. Thank you. Marcus shook it, and for the first time in 8 years, he didn't feel ashamed of his past. He felt proud of what it had become. Marcus Reid returned home after the deployment. He didn't talk about what he'd done, didn't seek recognition. He just kept doing what he'd always done, showing up, helping where he could. Torres, Hayes, and Cole stayed in touch. They checked in, supported each other, built something that went beyond rank and duty. They built trust. Years later, Marcus would get letters, emails, messages from Marines he'd never met, people who'd heard his story secondhand, people who said it gave them hope. He never asked to be a hero. He just chose to be honest, to share the darkest part of his life so that others wouldn't have to face their darkness alone. Moral: sometimes the battles we survive in private become the strength we share in public. Courage isn't just facing the enemy, it's facing yourself and helping others do the same. If this story moved you, don't forget to show your support. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to Hevoy for more military and veteran stories. We bring you true tales of courage, sacrifice, and honor. Stories that remind us of the quiet strength carried by those who serve. Until next time, stay safe, stay strong, and never forget the heroes among us.